Today, we're going to talk about how to use Instagram to promote your podcast. So, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Eileen, and on this channel, we talk about digital media. So, please be sure to subscribe and click that bell notification so you don't miss any of the tutorials here. Now, you might be wondering if you have an existing podcast. Why should you use Instagram to promote your podcast? Well, first, Instagram has a wide adoption rate. There's a billion users on Instagram, and with the multiple demographics that the user base is spread across, more than likely your target audience is already using Instagram. And the other great thing about that is your existing listeners are probably on Instagram too. So this gives you a way to stay connected with them. They can give you feedback. You can notify them about existing episodes or episodes that are upcoming, you're working on. You can show them behind the scenes and all of that. So let's just talk about some of the unique options and features that we have in Instagram that will help you promote your podcast. So, for example, you can use up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. Now, why is that important? Well, on Instagram, the currency of search and finding things on Instagram is pretty much based on hashtags. And with a great hashtag strategy that will, like I said, get you in front of a new audience as well as keep you engaged with your existing subscribers. So one of the tools that I recommend, now they're not sponsoring this video, but I am an affiliate for Tailwind. So check out Tailwind, and that link will be in the description, but it's eileen.link/tailwind. Tailwind has this really cool hashtag finder. It's a scheduling tool, but as you are typing in your caption for your image, Tailwind will suggest different hashtags that will be relevant based on what you're saying in your caption. And then you can also create and save hashtag lists. So that's good to know about hashtags, because I know a lot of people struggle with finding the right hashtags for their posts on Instagram. But we also have the location and the search and the explore tab. And one of the reasons why this location feature is really cool is because people, when they're out and about, they want to have their location turned on in Instagram so that people can see where they've been, especially if they're traveling or if they're out to eat, or if they're just at work and they just want folks to know their location. And then you can click through to that location tag and see all of the latest posts there in your Instagram Explorer tab. Then, because Instagram has that square image, that's the preferred size, it's also very congruent with the image that you have for your podcast. You know, for our podcast art, we always have to have a square image, whether we're talking Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and so much more. We need that square image. So it's a great way, if you have an episode image for your podcast, to go ahead and post that in the Instagram feed. And we're going to come back to Spotify in a second. So then also you have tags and mentions. So you can mention people and tag them in Instagram if they're in your photo. It's a great way to give a shout out to your friends, also bring attention to other accounts. And then the other tool that you can use is DMs, the direct messages. Tell people to message you, especially your podcast listeners or potential listeners. That DM feature on Instagram is a powerful way to really connect with folks. Okay, you also can, let's talk a little bit more about some of the features of posting on Instagram, you have the photo filters. And so in addition to tagging with your location, mentioning your friends and all that, you also can add these really cool filters that will sort of set the mood or the tone for your image. So now let's move on to my favorite part of Instagram, and that is the Instagram stories. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love Instagram stories. Totally Evelyn, hello. Thanks so much for joining, my dear. And you said that you found out about me from Fraser Ramsey. Thank you, Fraser, for introducing me to your friend. Totally Evelyn. Thanks for joining. So let's talk about Instagram stories. Now, before I even get into all of the features of Instagram stories, I want to come back to Spotify, because Spotify now has a unique integration with Instagram stories where you can promote your podcast. So let's just head over to Instagram, and then I'll show you that integration with Spotify. So we're on Instagram here on the phone, but we're going to open up Spotify. Now, in Spotify, you'll head over to your podcast, and if you need help with how to get your podcast on Spotify, just let me know. I've done some videos about that. Then you'll go to the share option, and you see one of the options there is the Instagram stories. Now, this one where I told people that I had a new episode of my podcast coming. And then you see here that I pointed up to click on that link, because that link is going to open Spotify. Instagram can go ahead and click directly through your story over into Spotify to listen to your podcast. That is a win. That, if nothing else, that should have you convinced that you should be promoting your podcast on Instagram, because a lot of people have Spotify on their phone. Probably very close to just as many people that are using some of the other apps like Twitter and all of that. So, also, you can do movie clips, and with the way the Instagram app works, let's just go directly back over into Instagram and just take a look at adding a story. I think I lost my connection there to my phone. Let's get that back up and running. And so I can show you some more stuff here really quickly. Thanks for joining, too. For those of you that are here, be sure to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up as well. So let's go back to the home, and let's go into the stories. So, for example, if I wanted to do a story right now, I could do that. Hey, guys, I'm live on YouTube talking about promoting your ad. Gifts. I can tag people in that story. I can add the location, all of that. Let's just see if we can. I think that has closed out on me again, so that's okay. I'll do another video just giving you a complete walkthrough of everything you can do on Instagram. But so let me just take a moment to explain. These are the features that are available to you on Instagram. You can have focus is one of the filters that's available that kind of puts a little bit of a blur on the background. You can go hands-free when you're recording your stories. You can do rewind and boomerang just to add a little extra flair to your videos. Also, there's something called super zoom that adds a little dramatic background music and zooms in on your image, and may also add some type of animation. And then you have the option to just type text, and then also to add GIFs. Now, I always recommend that if you're doing just a still image in your story, or if you're using that text feature, that you go ahead and add those GIFs, because the GIFs will turn your still image or your text into a movie. And so that just uh, increases the options for people to, get interested in following your story. So, once again, just to stress the use of the highlights. Once you've already done your story, you can go back and add something to your highlights, and then that makes it a permanent feature on your profile. So I think I'll be able to show you that again. Let's just connect it again quickly, because this part is really important, especially if, depending upon whatever the topic of your podcast is. Oh, hi, Ethan. Howdy. How are you? And we'll try to get those comments up in a minute here. And thanks for the shout out. Very interesting indeed. Oh, okay. Yeah. If you have a podcast, Evelyn, and even if you don't have a podcast, if you're just doing like live streaming on uh, Facebook, and I forgot to talk about Instagram Live. That's another option that you can use to promote your podcast, Instagram Live. So, anyway, let me just go into these highlights so you can see here. Now, we talked a little bit about the one for podcasting. Let's just go into a different one here. Just showing you that even though I've had these as part of my Instagram stories a while ago, I added it there as a highlight and it stays there permanently. Okay, so that is the advantage of using the highlights to promote your podcast. So let's just do a quick recap. Hopefully, when I come back on cam, I'll be on the right cam. Let's make sure. There you go. So let's just do a quick recap. You want to use the hashtags, okay? And I recommend to check out the Tailwind hashtag finder. That's going to make finding your hashtags so much easier. And it will automatically, it has like the smart, I guess it's an artificial intelligence that kind of detects based on the caption that you're typing in what hashtags will go well with your image. And you can schedule those in Tailwind as well. And they have something called the Smart Scheduler, something else that will help you to make sure that you're optimizing the times that you're posting your images there over on Instagram. So I recommend checking that out as well. So then you're going to use all the other features of Instagram, including the focus and the hands-free, rewind and boomerang, and the GIFs is probably the most fun feature. Instagram Live, let's see if I can let's just quickly go over here, and it's just for those who've never done an Instagram Live. You would go as if you were going to do a story, but you just click the live button here instead and start a live video. Now, I'm not going to start a live video right now because I'm live on YouTube. That's just too much live. And I already had a couple little technical difficulties, so I don't want to make things worse on myself. So just so you can see just how easy, all you have to do is click that start live button. And they have those augmented reality filters in there. They put hats on you and crowns or, butterflies and stars and all of that, just to give your live stream just a little bit more flair and a little bit more fun and funkiness, so that, people will remember. And you can also invite people in on your live stream. So see how you can connect with your listeners because of Instagram. Because like I said, with 1 billion people on Instagram, there's a huge chance that a lot of your existing subscribers are already on Instagram. And then also there's so much potential to connect with a new audience. So with that, guys, thanks so much for coming and for connecting with me. Connect with me over on Instagram. My handle is Eileen. That's ILEANE. And with that, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified the next time I go live or upload a video here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day. Peace.